Okay, ladies and gentlemen, your patience has been duly noted as we hop into our grand finals. Taking a look at the two players we have lined up. It's gonna be these two guys, Namshar versus MaSa. Namshar, Zerg player, has never won an NA Ladder Heroes or EU Ladder Heroes monthly finals. Could this be his first victory ever? And actually, same thing goes for MaSa, I believe. MaSa won one a very long time ago. And when I say a very long time ago, I actually mean like back in 2016, August. We're going to hop into it and introduce the players to find out who will be able to take victory. As we start up here in the top left-hand corner of the map. Top of the red Zerg player representing Team Dead Pixels, the European. Give it up for Namshar. And his opponent spawned down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map. We have the blue Terran player from Team Elevate. It's MaSa. And a Terran versus Zerg on probably one of the most awesome maps ever. By the way, I want to give a huge thank you to KimTran0212. Thank you so much for subscribing. I try to give those shoutouts like when the games are not actually super underway. So do forgive me if I'm ever late on those shoutouts. Okay, but here's the reality of the situation is that there's an advantage going on either side. First of all, I'm not going to pretend like it doesn't matter. Ping does matter, guys. And this is the North American Ladder Heroes monthly finals, not the European one. And MaSa, as the resident North American, kind of has a bit of a ping advantage. We're playing on the Eastern server, so it's the best case situation for Namshar on NA. But MaSa definitely has a little bit of an advantage going there. Namshar, though, has gotten a chance to see all of those previous games of MaSa facing off versus his opponent in a TVZ versus True. So he's gotten to see what MaSa's had been throwing out. He knows about the things like that weird, not proxy, but the weird two-port Banshee play. He's aware of what's going on and what the potential is. So he could scout out for that a little bit more adamantly. And that does limit some of MaSa's options. I think MaSa is one of those players that does best when he's throwing you off your game. He's making you uncomfortable and feeling like you can't do what you normally feel best with. He's getting you out of your rhythm. And that's a little bit harder if you can't really catch someone by surprise. Either way, though, we do have... actually, MaSa doing something that he didn't really do, I don't believe. Maybe in game one, I actually forget now, versus True... He is going for the straight up reactor Marines, completely skipping out on any Reapers or anything like that. So this is going to leave Namshar without having to deal with any kind of early aggression. Those early Zerglings going to be more or less useless for now. Can move out across the map. Namshar, did he already lose the Overlord? He did lose his first Overlord. So you can see, really doesn't have a whole lot of map vision. Pretty much knows that there's going to be a natural expansion. Unless there's some weird one base all-in that Terran players have been doing versus Zerg that I have not caught wind of just yet. That'd be pretty sick. Just saying, guys, some players, maybe you'll get lucky. I mean, look at this. Imagine if Namshar grabs a third before actually scouting out a natural. Could have been a one-way defeat. Easy win. But I adjust mostly. Ooh, Widowmine connects with all three Zerglings. And Marine finishes off the rest of them. Still very nice damage done. As MaSa cleans up any kind of form of scouting. Especially considering this is one of those maps where walling off this third expansion location can be a little bit annoying to do super fast. Medevac drop is going to be making his way across the map. And the Widowmine may even still be on cooldown. I mean, he made it here so quickly. Yep, just barely comes off of cooldown. Gonna go for the free damage over the kind of greedy damage, going straight for the mineral line. Widowmine gets focus fire down, but 3 queens, not quite enough DPS, and MaSa is just gonna pick up. Doesn't take a single loss so far. He's already gotten a free Overlord, got a couple of Zerglings, and he's getting up siege tanks behind this. No third expansion in sight just yet. Oh, looks like the Widowmine did go off. Did some damage. Layer Tech is now starting up, and it seems like, oh, we got the most aggressive Spore Crawler ever. Right on top of that Widowmine. Looks like MaSa was able to clean up some of the creep spread, though. And still, hasn't taken any losses whatsoever. Just getting some kind of free damage done. Now, that Widowmine will eventually fall. Funny enough, it will get potentially one more shot off on that Zergling. Goes down to hero regardless. And MaSa does throw down the third expansion behind this. Still no stim, still no combat shields on the way just yet, but Tech Lab is prepared on that barracks. I wonder when he's going to be starting that up. Maybe a little bit of a mistake, maybe just trying to wait for the gas, I guess. I'm not sure. I feel like you usually end up seeing it almost as soon as that Tech Lab gets swapped onto the barracks. But Double Engineering Bay is also coming up behind this. He's starting up a Liberator, which may be where a lot of that gas went a bit earlier on. So that plus this Siege Tank positioning is pretty savage. Queen's going to be able to get on top of the Medivacs, shutting down the air vision. That's a really good way of handling this. He's got enough Zerglings out finally that he can try to start surround this. But oh my god, MaSa brought an SCV along. Queen's trying to focus right on the SCV, but the Medivac heals it up. Makes it so much harder to engage into this. The Zergling's just going to go for a counterattack, but this is a full wall off. Even 3 Marines can defend a full wall off. There's not even a third established just yet. MaSa continues. He's got a very low health Medivac, so he has to be careful. That Medivac even takes 1 or 2 more hits. It's dead. That shuts down all the vision and shuts down this push-in. But a bunker now loaded up. A Liberator gonna siege up. Completely denies mining. 4th expansion is being taken over here, but this is about the lost mining time. Look at all of this lost mining time for Namshar. 1-1 is on the way. So he's actually going to have a bit of a lead versus MaSa. Not a huge lead. You know, like a 15-20 second lead. And Namshar's made all of these Zerglings that have literally provided 0 value. Besides, I guess, preventing MaSa from just charging in for victory. But this damage has been brutal. I love this. This is again like, oh! Almost didn't lift up this Flight Depot in time. Gonna lose a couple of workers over here. This is a nice counterattack. Finally getting some use from those Zerglings, but losing a few more than he probably wanted to. 5 workers killed and kind of being annoying, forcing some units out. But this is what I'm talking about. MaSa's just throwing Namshar off his game with this. Imagine how annoying it is that your natural expansion has not been mined from for such a long period of time. Oh, Namshar is still starting to bounce back. I guess he's got a really good work account. And MaSa, having lost 5 workers, does lose out on a bit of mining time. The mules also now going to be starting to mine from that 3rd. Starting a wall off over here. Looks like he's starting to reinforce. Oh my god, how long has this position been set up? He's making so many banelings. Is he going to try and get aggressive, or is he going to just try and shut down that that position? I think he's just using the banelings to bust into bunkers. And the siege tanks focus fire down the banelings. He does get a cleanup completely, but at the same time, MaSa moves in with a double medevac drop on the 4th expansion. All of these drones are going to end up falling. Namshar doesn't even react right now because he's still busy cleaning all of this up. The medevac, the Liberator are eventually going to get cleaned up, but 19 drones die as well as the 4th expansion. MaSa seizing complete control of this game in the first game of the grand finals. And what does Namshar to do? He's sitting down in workers now. He does immediately re-drone, but losing the expansion is so devastating. Luckily for him, he hasn't been mining for his natural expansion for very long. So he actually has quite a few resources left over here. This is almost his 4th expansion at this point. But MaSa still has 30 supply up on his opponent. He's got a 3rd expansion that's been mining pretty healthily. He's getting on additional tech, and his 2-2 is now on the way, not too far behind his opponents. He's really just not falling behind in any kind of regard. Up in workers, equal in upgrades, up in army supply. Medevac going down is going to be a bit annoying. Good defense this time from Namshar. Was able to snap off 1 of the medevacs. The other medevac in the natural expansion getting some Zergling kills, but Namshar's actually been able to defend this with mostly just Zerglings. No banelings actually being remade after having, and that's the thing, you have to remember, he had to crush that force with the banelings and everything. And not only was he out of position, but even if he wasn't out of position, it would have been a difficult split up with all of the Zerglings and the banelings because it was such a good spot for MaSa. Okay. Marines getting some okay damage done. Ooh, really actually getting a lot of damage done. Doesn't look like it, but you take a closer look, there's really only one active creep tumor out on this side of the map now. MaSa gonna knock down those rocks. I don't even think Namshar sees those rocks being knocked down. Well, I can't tell if he should be able to see those little shots, those little bullets. But either way, the last creep tumor on that side gets knocked out. Oh, Namshar, normally he can do a little run by on the right-hand side, but that's why MaSa went for this one. Against Zerg, there's not a lot of fear about hydras or something coming in from the high ground. MaSa poaching forward, splitting up his marines preemptively a little bit. He's got a lot of Widow Mines also. Widow Mine going off on the Overseer, not the best shot. Namshar does get a pretty good couple of Veiling hits, but the problem is he was behind, so he didn't need good. He needed better than good. And I don't think I've seen this many upgrades finishing at the same time, but 4 for MaSa. And speaking of 4, 4th expansion for Namshar. Maybe getting cleaned up over here. Veilings do finish up, though. MaSa trying to stutter step back. He loses all of his Marines, though. Here's a cleanup, and he keeps that 4th expansion alive. 22 workers died. Oh, my God. Did Namshar get a big run by? Must have been at the natural or something. 22 SCVs died, so... Okay, Namshar now stabilizing a little bit. He's cleaning up these attacks from MaSa. It's even supply right now, and MaSa's lost a lot of his economy. Widow Mines. Okay, getting some Zorglings as well. MaSa gonna be able to continue this aggression a little bit further. Is Namshar running out of steam? He's only got 1 Zorgling on the map. GG gets called. MaSa takes game number 1 after some ridiculously sick play. Oh my God, that was some nauseating amount of damage that he got done with those 2 Siege Shanks, the bunkers being thrown down, the Liberator follow-up, almost killing, focus firing down the Veilings as they try and sweep in and clean up the bunkers, so the bunkers don't even die immediately. The Zerglings have to get a couple more attacks off. Oh, that was nauseating. I hope you Terran players are taking notes. There's only a few weeks left over for Abyssal Reef. Okay, next map is going to be, let's see, Newkirk Precinct. Then we go to Proxima. Okay, well, we hop into game number 2, and I see you guys, you really wanted to see pickup lines with Fear Dragon. All right, after this we will see pickup lines with Fear Dragon. After this grand finals, I mean. I will play just that one thing if I remember, and then we will, cut the stream and host somebody. Alright, let me get the players invited. Alright, they are eager to hop into this. Let me get the scoreboard updated as well. As MaSa sits up 1-0. Namshar is ready, MaSa is ready. And we are ready to hop into game number 2. By the way, taking a quick look, I doubt that they've faced each other many times, but it's always fun to just kind of take a look at. 3 times they've faced, and MaSa has won every single time, interestingly enough. He's only dropped 1 competitive series, but that was back in 2015. And even the other 2 series are back in 2016. Namshar has definitely gotten a lot better, I would say, since 2016. Later end of 2016, he was doing pretty well. Don't get me wrong. But, 2017 Namshar is pretty damn sick. Okay, but here we go. Spawning down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we have the red Terran player setting up 1-0 in this best of 5. Give it up for MaSa. And his opponent spawned down here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have the blue Zerg player from Europe. It is Namshar. On a marathon run, having played in the European Ladder Heroes Monthly Finals and this one. I wonder if he might even been crazy enough to sign up for the Go for SC2 Cup as well, alongside players like Snoot and I don't think Truce signed up. I don't know if Truce had signed up for Go for SC2. I know Nurchio and Snoot did, and then they played in European Ladder Heroes also. But that last game, MaSa really getting into a dominating position off of that early aggression. This is a very different map. There are some abusable positions. If the Zerg player is suicidal enough to try and take this as a 3rd expansion, Siege Tank Siege up over here can have a similar effect, especially if you knock down. I've never seen a Terran player knock down this cooling tower in time, but it would be pretty damn effective, I think, if you were able to knock that down. Because then the Zerglings will try and stream in from behind. You're just like, okay, well, all of your lings are over here. I'm going to pick up and float over to your main or your third. And I feel like that would be a pretty miserable situation for any Zerg. Alright, but MaSa goes for the Reaper opening this game as opposed to the Reactor Marine from game number 1. Really loves just mixing it up. I can't even really tell if there's anything consistent about the map choices that he's going for it on. Because I feel like I saw him go for a Reaper opening on Abyssal Reef before. And then last game, he didn't go for the Reaper opening. He went for the Reactor Marine. Still has not thrown out a 3-Rex Reaper. I know most Terran players have really stopped doing it a lot. But MaSa is one of the few players I do still sometimes see him throw it out. Alright, Reaper making its way over to the natural. Namshar shouldn't be unprepared in the slightest. He's got Zergling speed on the way. He's got a handful of Zerglings. Oh, it doesn't quite catch the Reaper. Oftentimes you really want to keep those Zerglings, or most people will keep the Zerglings over by that ramp to try and intercept the Reaper when it hops up. Namshar trying to do it over by the Reaper hopping up to the high ground, which is a bit safer to do. Damn, Reaper already up to 3 kills, 3 ling kills. That's not bad. Luckily for Namshar, he did get down that 3rd expansion nice and early on. I don't think MaSa even caught wind of the drone heading over there or anything. So, managing to sneak it out. Reaper's not going to be able to delay that at all. Hellions are going to be coming out, and this is where I also remind people about how many games MaSa kept going for those armories, getting out those Hellbats. Starport coming up. Tech Lab for the Starport. I wonder if this is going to be for a Banshee. No second Starport, though. We aren't seeing 2-port Banshee just yet. Okay, so how is Namshar going to play this out a little bit differently? That last game, I mean, it was a pretty unique situation. He took a lot more damage than he would have normally on almost any other map. So I don't feel like it's as huge of a deal, but still, Namshar, against someone like MaSa, you gotta make sure you have a super solid defense against the early games. You can't let almost anything phase you. In fact, we do have Tech Lab just starting up on the barracks. He's getting out a Viking and may just follow this up with a Liberator or a Raven. I don't see Ravens too often on Newkirk Precinct. I don't really hate the decision. You could float around in the main base and move in, but there's so much air or space that you had to actually cover that it makes it a lot harder to get that Raven in and get an auditor in range of the mineral line without taking a lot of shots from Queens. Regardless, he is going for that Raven. The Hellion's getting some good damage done, burning down the Queen. Weakened Hellion gets focus fire down first. Nice job from Namshar. Also gets an okay surround. Picks off a second Hellion. And MaSa actually not getting the most efficient trades here, considering it's Hellions versus Zerglings. Namshar's going to get a full cleanup. Cleans up every single one of those. Loses an Overlord at some point. No, doesn't. No, okay, he does lose 2 Overlords. Yeah, so he's a pretty supply block right now, which is kind of annoying. But he's going to get up safety Spore Crawlers as I guess the Overlord was moving into Scout. Saw the Tech Lab on the Starport. And just immediately reacted and said, okay, Spore Crawlers, Banshees, I gotcha. I saw your series versus True. But funny enough, that's not the case. It's going to be a mix-up. 3rd CC also on the way, double engineering base, so this isn't going to transition to some kind of weird Hellbat attack or anything. It's just 1 Raven, throw down the auto turrets for the harassment. It's going to be able to do a pretty good job with the first one. Raven, I don't even think it's going to get in range of that Spore Crawler. Queen, I don't believe, should be able to get any shots off. And this should immediately be just, okay, Spore Crawler does get a couple shots. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 drones going to be killed at the same time. Hellions trying to run in over the 3rd. They're killing off 2 more. And a few Zerglings. At least softening up some of those Zerglings. Spore Crawler going to burrow a little bit further forward. And this is what I mean. It's a little bit harder. Raven can still move in from, say, the top side, or really just float all the way down over here on the south side. But it's hard to get as much damage on, say, Abyssal Reef or something. 3rd expansion now being taken, and ooh, Namshar going to go into the Mutas. He never really threw down a Roachworn or anything, so I guess it makes sense. Still, he invested a lot into those spores. He's got 4 Spore Crawlers up. Really, I guess, paranoid about the potential for a big Banshee attack. That last series, almost playing against him that he ended up seeing it. A double Liberator is now popping out for MaSa, just completely skipping. Who needs Medivacs? He does have Stim, but he's just going to be very, very conservative with them, I imagine. The Spore Crawler should be able to deal with those Liberators. I don't actually think this is a great map for Liberators, because again, similar to how we were talking about in the main base, the third expansion, natural expansion, a lot of space behind these mineral lines, which means that Liberators have a harder time finding an area to siege up, and it's a lot of space, a ground space, and not a lot of dead air space, so even the main base, I think Queens can always find an angle, or the Spore Crawler can always find an angle to hit that Liberator from. Bit of a slow reaction over here from Namshar. Is going to end up losing at least 2 or 3 workers. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, auto turrets, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh my god, that was really devastating amounts of damage. A second auto turret even being thrown down. Buying time for that Liberator is sniping off all of these drones in production right now. And as the drones they pop up, they're getting sniped off. Now, this doesn't show up on the unit's kill count, but the Liberator also killing drones that were being made. Sure, you get the resources back, but you lose out on that mining time. And the Liberator, oh my god, that's so cute. MaSa getting a little bit too cute. He's just like, I'm going to move out, and my opponent will move in with those queens and move back to defend somewhere else. And the Liberator will re-siege. It's like, no, actually, the queens were still there. But MaSa gets a huge advantage from that. And it doesn't reflect in that worker count, but it reflects in the army supply. Because you have to remember, those are units that Namshar cannot have made. He has 7 mutas on the way now. I don't think he's lost any mutas. No, he hasn't actually gotten involved with those. The Spire only just finished. But now MaSa can try and poke in from multiple different angles. That Raven even in the mix again. Throwing down an auto turret can be a really effective way of also dealing with those Banelings. Centrifugal hooks only just started recently. Banelings, gotta be careful not to engage off a creep. And I think MaSa should have just seen the mutas over there, just barely. And now the mutas, ooh, they're dropping down to the south side at the perfect moment. I don't even think Namshar got a vision of it, but it's gonna be working out pretty well for him, because now he can move in, try and snipe this off without losing too many units. Couple of drones are going to end up falling over here. Doesn't have any Banelings. The Widow Mine's also going to be a bit of a scary proposition. Oh, okay. Actually doing more friendly fire than anything else. The Mutos go untouched. And a solid defense over there from the south side. But how about the north side? One Corruptor in the mix does kill off one Medevac. Or sorry, the Raven. An auto turret goes down at the last second though. And there's only Queens over here to defend. The 4th expansion getting so low on health. MaSa dealing with the transfuses, the mutas coming in, the Banelings coming in as well, but they're pre-split from MaSa. He's even got some Hellbats in the mix as the armory was already finished up for that 2-2 upgrade, and the 4th expansion is going to fall. Reinforcements also streaming on in. He's got all the Medevacs also alive, stimming forward, sniping off Muta after Muta. GG gets called. MaSa takes a 2-0 lead in the grand finals. Somebody stop this man. And now 1 game away from taking his 2nd NA Ladder Heroes Monthly Finals victory in almost 6-7 months. In fact, taking a look at, I guess, the history of Ladder Heroes, I don't think MaSa has even made it to a semifinals or a 3rd, 4th place finish ever since he took that victory back in August of 2016. Never even made a top 4 finish since then. And granted, I'm not going to take it away from him. It's not necessarily even just because he kept losing before then. It just hasn't actually gotten into a lot of the monthly finals. I think he kind of was not as active for a bit on Ladder Heroes, but he's back with a vengeance. Players are ready. Namshar is... Whoops. Oh, I think Namshar may be hosted on the wrong map. Alright, let's join off of them. Oh, match point, ladies and gentlemen. Abyssal Reef. MaSa and Namshar both made a lobby. Alright, Namshar's in a lobby, but I can't actually join. Game 3 is Proxima. Yep, Proxima Station for game number 3. Then it'll go to Cactus Valley if it makes it there. Followed by Belshire Vestige. Trying to think a bit about this map. This is definitely... It's a bug. Zombie Grub just released a video about it. You're not crazy. Namshar saying like, oh, I was pretty sure I made, ref, please. Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are hopping into Proxima Station match point. As I said before, very short rush distance map, but also very easy to take 3 bases on this map. Air aggression can be very annoying. There are also those backdoor rock positions. Sometimes, very, very rarely do we end up seeing a Terran player really start to abuse that. We'll see if MaSa decides to as we hop into it and introduce the players. And for those who were wondering, I think someone was asking earlier, where are the map I only have 2 map intros, unfortunately. I'll explain that later. But spawning up here in the top right-hand corner of the map, we have the blue Zerg player from Dead Pixels. Give it up for Namshar, who's up against the ropes. Life on the line against this guy. Playing down here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, feeling confident, looking for a victory lap. In game number 3, it's Team Elevate's MaSa. Drenched red in the blood of the Lings and Banelings. He has been slaughtering this series and last series. Okay, but just to quickly finish up that thought, yes, don't quite have map intros for every map. I normally do for most seasons, but I think the last 2 seasons have been a little bit behind. Nice Username is the one who makes all the map intros that I've been playing on this channel, and unfortunately, he has just had so much going on. Been doing work for Base Rate TV, Nathanius, even Blizzard actually doing some work for them as well. So he hasn't quite had as much time. He only managed to get 2 map intros out, and actually really 1 map intro out for Abyssal Reef. Cactus Valley is an old map, so I still just had that one laying around from before. Next map pool, I should hopefully be able to get all of the maps in a couple of weeks. I believe the map pool actually was. I don't know if the map pool was locked down. I think it was. I'll have to double check that. Maybe next user can actually get started on those now. Note to self. Ask nice username to make the map intro sooner rather than later. But okay, natural expansion being taken. In base for MaSa. In base for Namshar. That's only, really for Namshar, it's only worth noting because sometimes Zerg players like to take that forward one. Just makes the natural in base one a little bit easier to take later on as a third. Because you get the creep spread there a little bit faster. The queens are there a little bit sooner. And with the creep spread, you can also potentially go for wall-offs on this map. Because if you wall off your third, you're also defending your main and your natural. A little bit unlike most other maps. Alright, factory with the reactor. Surprise? No, not really. One day we'll just see a Terran player be like, okay, we're getting a reactor, but we're also throwing down 4 more barracks and going for Reaper. No. Going full U-thermal / Kelazor. Tech lab also being thrown down. Which is kind of funny now, because it's not even a reveal of whether or not there's going to be a Banshee play. Could just be for the Ravens. And Raven on this map is pretty nice. The Raven can actually sit in this kind of nice area over here. Like, I think the Queens sometimes are able to get a snipe off. I am still uncertain. I've seen sometimes where Terran players don't quite find the sweet spot. I think there's a very, very small sweet spot over here where Queens cannot attack them. But I'm still not convinced about it. Either way, though, auto turrets in any one of these mineral lines is pretty damn nice. But it's going to be a Widowmine drop instead. Okay, interesting. Got a tech lab on the factory that he's not swapping over. It's going to be 1 Widowmine, handful of Marines. Only 4 Marines, I think. Or sorry, 6 Marines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, poor Joey's going to get left behind. MaSa's already sectioned him off. He's split up from the group. He finally gets a buddy, though. Buddy transfers in. Oh, wow, that timing on that Overlord scout. Namshar goes for the Overlord speed upgrade. Is not even going to lose the Overlord for scouting out exactly what he's up against. Sees that it's going to be a Widowmine drop. He gets up a Roachhorn. I think the Roachhorn started up before he even scouted that out, but he could throw down the Spore Crawlers if he wants to now. Did he not see the Widowmine? He might have just only seen the Marines and the Medevac. But I mean, surely, I mean, it's not 2-on-1. Otherwise, there'd be 2 Medevacs. So he must have known it was going to be a Widow Mine drop. But I guess he's just going to try and... Maybe he's just going to try and play it out a little bit greedier. He's going to say, yeah, you know what? One Widow Mine that's not even worth getting spores for. Well, he is going to get a spore now. To eventually clean this up. But does a nice job of it. Even gets up a Spine Crawler, interestingly enough. I wonder if he's going to go for a really fast fourth. Either that or he does not like defending against drops on this map. By the way, MaSa keeps his Marines, 5 of the Marines alive with the medevac at half health. He can continue the aggression. Loads up another medevac with the siege tank this time. Oh, okay. I know what he's going to do. He's going to send this down along the bottom right-hand side. Float it up over here. And I think Namshar smells it too. A siege tank sieged up right over here can be really difficult to deal with. The Marines kind of support from the low ground. Eventually kind of elevate her up to the main high ground. Zerglin's finally getting pushed back. But the Spine Crawler actually going to be really helpful. This is the real reason you got a Spine Crawler. To help deal with this. Double Madvac's going to unload in time. Oh, they're going to unload in time, though. Those rocks are so low on health, he might be able to actually kill it in time. Zergling's taking some damage with the Spine Crawler from a safe distance back. It's working away. Siege tank's in range of the Spine Crawler, though. It's working. It's going to find another angle. Those rocks will eventually get knocked down. Denies a bit of mining, so it's not entirely a worthwhile effort over here from MaSa. He goes over to the natural and is like, okay, nope. In-base natural not going to happen. Rock's about maybe 5 more seconds away from being knocked down. There it is. MaSa should know about this. He's going to siege up outside of the in-base natural, though. Honestly, I almost feel like this is a more vulnerable position, question mark, than just sieging up inside the base itself. But no, he's going to make this work. The siege tanks, they finally get attacked from the low ground. Namshar is on top of it. The one siege tank gets away, as well as a handful of the Marines. And MaSa's done some really nice damage. Oh, one queen! One queen with a dream. MaSa says no. Get out of here. Okay, so how much damage was really done? You can see that MaSa is behind in the worker count. Yeah, by about 11 workers. Namshar actually still leading up a good bit in terms of the economy, it looks like. Now, granted, Mule's going to be helping to recover that kind of thing. But you can see he doesn't actually have too much energy. He's got one more Mule's going to be coming down, but he's been spending all of his Mules. He does not have a third expansion mining until just now, where he's going to be able to throw down a couple of Mules. That's going to help to catch up a bit. I don't know if that was enough damage for MaSa. He lost one siege tank. He lost a handful of Marines. It doesn't look like a lot. But it was an investment to get out all those units earlier, and it delayed his third expansion by a little bit. Oh, one siege tank does not give a damn about Zergling scouts. Either way, though, Namshar secures a 4th expansion location. Gonna be hard to deny this with just one medevac drop, but it's 3 moving across the map. Infester's also out on the way. Some good fungal growths. With some, I would say corrosive biles, but it doesn't have any Ravagers out. Whoa! Okay, it's not just for Infestors. It's for the super fast Hive Tech. Hive Tech before he even finishes up his +1 missile attack upgrade. Medevac drops are going to get pushed back. Tries to unload for a moment to snipe off some creep, but no. Namshar's on top of it. 4th expansion going to be vulnerable. 3 workers going down. It looks like the Liberator sieging up inside the natural expansion is going to be nice. Forcing that Spore to reburrow. It's going to try and force it to reburrow one more time. Marines trying to unload, but no. Looks like everything's over there and prepared. Double Liberator siege up. I think this Spore Crawler is out of range, but this Spore Crawler is in range. Just denying mining. Not killing a lot of workers, but denying mining. Look at that huge spike with the lost mining time. MaSa also coming in with some Marine forces. He's got some siege tanks, but this is a very wide open area. Not exactly the ideal area to engage unless he's in a superior army supply. He takes out a ton of roaches. That's a huge loss. I don't know if Namshar could have actually afforded to lose that. The Infestors are out. Where are the Fungals? They need to be amazing. They're okay. And there's no follow-up. Another fungal growth has to be used on just 4 Marines. The Roaches and Ravagers come in from the south side. They are going to be able to do a really nice job over here. If that one Infestor was just a little bit closer, he could have gotten a fungal growth off. Maybe these Ravagers could have cleaned house. But not quite going to happen. I believe the Liberators were both picked off. Yeah, 2 Liberators dead. 9 workers have been killed. Namshar definitely falls a good bit in terms of that worker supply compared to his opponent. MaSa sitting up 2-0. Now sitting up 17 army supply, or 17 supply total. It's mostly in workers, but there is a little bit in army supply. Namshar still has that creep spread going in his favor on the center side, but there's not a lot on this side. Rocks are going to be able to buy some time. Namshar has vision of the rocks, very importantly. Medevac dropping the main base. Nope, that's going to get shut down. Fungal growth and pick off. But this buys space. MaSa taking out those rocks. Namshar is going to get there in time to defend, but he cannot deny those rocks from being knocked down. Reinforcements. Oh no, gold expansion being taken over here from MaSa behind all this. Not seizing any of the macro. Siege tank siege up. There's only 2 of them. Gas geyser gonna be vulnerable. Burrow is researched. Scan goes down, but the fungals are still gonna be going off. Corrosive vials chaining forward, taking out 1 of the siege tanks. 2nd siege tank gonna be under fire. 3rd siege tank much further back, getting some really good shots off, but it is left to die. Was it worthwhile? MaSa still sets at relatively even supply, but he did lose quite a bit of armies over there, and he did not manage to deny that 4th expansion. Didn't really kill a lot more workers there either. Definitely some good trades for Namshar. Pathogen glands being researched. Infestors on, more infestors on the way. A Spire on the way with a hive already out. Could tech into a Broodlord transition. He needs to get there though. Oh, nice scan. Snipes off 1 of the infestors. The other infestor already low on energy. Cannot actually fungal, but has to pick up. Has to get out of there. There's just no danger of him being fungal though with so many medevacs there. And dropping the main base also snipes off that queen. Sniping off some of these drones. Could go after the Spire. He does focus fire it down. He's going to be able to cancel it. It delays any kind of Broodlord tech and kind of signals to MaSa, I gotta start thinking about it. Maybe start thinking about those Vikings. Liberator sieging up inside the 4th expansion. It's in range of the Spore Crawler. It's going to end up dying. 9 workers picked off. Namshar down to 59. He's been reproducing those workers, still making more. He's restarting that Spire as well. But I think MaSa has kind of got a bit of a lead off that last set of engagements. Getting some good damage done. Those are really nice trades. Sniping off the infestors is a really big deal too. You notice the infestor count. Namshar's been making infestors for a while now, but he's only got 2. He's 4 more on the way with pathogen glands, so don't get me wrong. He's still going to have some infestor capabilities, but it's a big gas investment that delays things like a greater Spire that could be thrown down later on. Delays things like +3 armor upgrade, which is coming out so late compared to when he had that hive. Okay, MaSa's doing a slow and methodical push-up. Siege tank sieging up, 1 by 1. Liberator sieging up, trying to cover the movement. Namshar's trying to guess which side he's going to have to engage into. He might even just try and go for a bit of a flank over here. He's got to be so cautious about this. It looks like a scary army because there's a lot of health bars, but there's a lot of infestors here. And infestors, while awesome, are not a main army unit. They are not going to be there on the front lines to buffer. Okay, MaSa's pretty clumped up right now. Fungal growth going down on top of a lot of the medevacs. Only 3 medevacs managed to survive a majority of the corrosive biles. 2 more medevacs get away with good health. Fungal growth's really helping out for Namshar over here, shutting down a majority of the bile. There's still a lot of the power units though. Siege tanks, liberators, even the Marauder in the front line. No more scans being thrown down though. More and more of these fungal growths are locking down these units, but the 4th expansion is getting so low on health. Namshar doesn't have a 5th expansion. He never took the gold expansion. If he loses this, I don't know if he's gonna have economy to contest with MaSa. 172 supply. Oh my god, I think MaSa might be doing it. Roaches and Ravagers being taken out. There's nothing left right now for Namshar. He's replenishing his supply with Roaches, but it's Roaches versus soon to be 3 Marines and Marauders. The siege tanks, the real scary part, that are just not moving forward just yet. But as soon as these Marauders retreat back over there, it's gonna just signal how much further MaSa is ahead. He's getting a 5th expansion over at that top left-hand base, on top of the gold expansion that's been mining. Namshar's final hope may just be those Broodlords that are so close to coming out. The Greater Spire's done, but no, he does not have the time. GG gets called. MaSa takes the grand finals 3-0. Locking down North American Ladder Heroes for the North Americans. A beautiful, beautiful series from both of those players. It may have been a 3-0, but Namshar put up a damn good fight in that series. Really made it look close, and we just had such an awesome set of games. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for MaSa as well as Namshar. MaSa walks away with $200 for first place in the Ladder Heroes Monthly Finals. Namshar walks away with $75 for a good old second place. And of course, we do have our third and fourth place finalists, or semi-finalists. True and Peely Peely walking away with $37, and our quarterfinalists that walk away with $12.50 for at least showing up and playing some good games. Jon Snow, Optimus, Semper, and Cham. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. I want to encourage you guys to go check out these players. Of course, if you don't know their Twitter handles, really great ways to catch them. Elevate MaSa at Elevate MaSa. He's also been streaming a lot, guys. If you really want to go check him out, this guy is seriously rad. If he didn't impress you with this series, I mean, I don't know what will, but go check out his stream. He's really been stepping up on the streams, which is really cool. You don't get to see a lot of really good Terran player streamers, except for maybe, I guess, like Uthermal. Yeah, it's like Uthermal. Maybe like one or two other really good Terran players. But, of course, also be sure to check out Namshar at DPixNamshar. Yeah, DPixNamshar. But he's a really, really strong European player. Playing across server, playing in 2 different tournaments today. 2 Ladder Heroes events back-to-back, because he's so damn good. He stays at the top of ladder for NA and EU. What a badass. Give him some love. And, of course, big shout-out to True at PsiTrue, PSI True. At PeelyPeely96 for our other third, fourth place finalists. And, of course, at Jon Snow SC2, at DPix Optimus, at Root_Semper, and at Cham SC2 for all of their Twitters for the quarterfinals as well. Thank you all so much for tuning in. It has been a pleasure to bring you NA and EU Ladder Heroes today. It's been a very long broadcast. I now hit 8 hours and 12 minutes, I think, for total runtime for Ladder Heroes. And with a lot of it being solo, it's been a bit crazy. Tempo did message me, I think, toward the end of things. But I think we were finishing up the grand finals anyways. He messaged me, I think, during either the third game or something. Because he was at work, so he was asking if I... Oh, actually, he messaged me 30 minutes ago. I just missed it. Because I did not have my DMs open on Twitter. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the broadcast, please do consider following the channel. And, of course, all the VODs for this, as well as just VODs for other things that you may not have seen before, including downtime content, pickup lines with Fear Dragon and everything, available on youtube.com/FearDragon64. I really want to push that. You know what? If you're going to do anything, all right, if you're choosing between subscribing to me on Twitch, like literally giving me money, donating to me on Twitch, following me on Twitch, following me on Twitter, or anything, no. Follow me on YouTube, all right? I'm trying to push my YouTube right now. I'm really enjoying YouTube, okay? Do check me out there. And, of course, if you do want to, consider following the channel for more notifications about when I go live. Mostly cast StarCraft events and run StarCraft events, and I occasionally do also play a little bit on the ladder. My scrubby little Diamond League Protoss. Try to be Peely Peely, fail to be Peely Peely, rage about not being Peely Peely. But yeah, that is going to be it. Big thank you to Oli Moly. Check her out at Oli Moly, and she also runs the Alima League. Seriously, one of the most amazing people in the StarCraft scene. And, of course, big thank you to On Fire No Regret, at On Fire No Regret, for helping cast the EU Ladder Heroes Multi-Finals earlier on today. That's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to find somebody to host. My last little bit of, my last 2 things are, 1, big thank you, by the way, to all the people who hosted the channel and all that stuff. TLO had hosted earlier. We had Sheezel host, as well as, I think, 19 other auto hosts, including Zombie Grub, Scorpling, C Star League, Cyan, ES Champ, Poke Bunny, Nerd Street Gamers, Crank, I think I already said Zombie Grub, M Canning, Miss Magitech. Just really awesome people. Thank you so much to all of the people who hosted. And also big thank you, I think, to, it was, who was it? Zombie Grub had resubscribed for 15 months in a row, and Kim Tran 0212 had subscribed as a brand new Amazon Prime Now subscriber, or I should say Twitch Prime subscriber. So big thank you to all you guys. The second thing I want to say is I'm going to find somebody to host. My philosophy on hosting is that I always like to say, give anyone that like maybe gets the host or something 2 minutes at least to impress you. That's all. That's all. And you know what? 2 minutes, not a lot of your time. If you find someone that you like that maybe you haven't seen before, awesome. You can feel super good because you found a new content creator that you will be able to enjoy for the continuing future. You find that it's not really for you, totally understandable. You can move on, find something else to do, go play StarCraft, go watch another stream. There's plenty of actually really good streams going on right now. You know what? I'm actually going to host someone it's not a StarCraft stream, but it is an RTS stream. We got the one and only Letod streaming Warcraft 3 right now. Let me tell you, I am not, like, I used to play Warcraft 3 back in the day, but I'm not like a crazy Warcraft 3 1v1 player, or like person. I don't really know the meta. I know that Blade Master always gets complained about. I was like the limits of my Warcraft 3 knowledge, but Todd is really fun to watch playing Warcraft 3. I highly recommend it. So we're going to host up Letod. We'll see you guys next time. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend, and keep StarCrafting, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, I'll play pickup lines with Fear Dragon before we close out.